Respected Vice Principal, Dr. Tanji Sharma ji, today's resource person, Dr. Nitika Kapoor, an expert in her field, her husband, Honorable Dr. Bharat Kapoor, my dear colleagues and very dear students. This is a second lecture in a series of extension lectures which are being guided by our principal कि इस कॉलेज में विच एक्सटेंशन लेक्चर के लिए बहुत जरूरी है बच्चों के लिए उन्होंने गाइडिंग दे दी मैं तो पहले क्या कहता कि ये एक्सटेंशन लेक्चर्स के लिए होंगे ने इन्होंने फायदे कई ने you come to know about the expert from the universities, you will get knowledge on particular subjects. Other topic बहुत ही बढ़िया है. Along with this, you get a chance to interact with the resource person, the experts from the university. And today's topic is millets. चलिए ऐसे बोलते जा रहे हैं. The sustainable food groups. Even United Nations में भी 2023 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ इंटरनेशनल crop डेजिग्नेट किया है millets ਨੂੰ क्योंकि ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਨਾਰਮਲ ਸੀਰੀਅਲ ਕ੍ਰੌਪਸ ਨੇ ਕਣਕ ਹੋਗੀ ਮੱਕੀ ਹੋਗੀ ਜਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੁਝ ਕ੍ਰੌਪਸ ਨੇ ਬਟ ਦੇ ਆਰ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ ਡੂਇੰਗ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਐਸੋਸੀਏਟਡ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਿ ਬਾਡੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਡਿਸਟਰਬੈਂਸਸ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਹੋ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਡਾਇਬੀਟੀਜ਼ ਹੋਗੀ ਹਾਈ ਬੀਪੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਐਂਡ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਿਲਟਸ ਨੇ they are highly nutritious along with they are having a very high fiber content आयरन बहुत ज्यादा है ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स बहुत घट है सो दे आर वेरी आइडियल फॉर दी शुगर पेशेंट्स बाकी मैं ज्यादा नहीं दसांगा क्योंकि साडे रिसोर्स पर्सन ने दे विल टॉक ऑन दिस थिंग सो बिफोर प्रोसीडिंग फर्दर we will formally welcome our resource person Dr. Nitika Kapoor so I would like to invite Vice Principal Dr. Tanji Sharma ji Madam Jyoti Madam Mona Soni on stage so that we formally welcome our resource person Dr. Nitika Kapoor. Now I would like to invite Madam Jeevan Jyoti on us so that she will formally introduce our resource person to you.
Respected Vice Principal Sir, my dear colleagues and my dear students, a very good morning to all of you. So it gives me a great pleasure to introduce the resource person of today's special lecture. We are honored this morning by the presence of Honorable our resource person, Madam Dr. Nitika Kapoor. She is Assistant Professor of Botanical and Environmental Sciences, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. And she did his master's and PhD degree in botany and specialized in the plant stress physiology and biochemistry, phytoremediation and biochem. Her teaching experience is of 16 years, research experience it is 20 years, and she has their publications are total 54 publications. 2 are I think she is in a publication 54 plus 2. Research paper 17 and her book chapters are 37, book edited to H index 16 and I-10 index 18 and total citation is 1015 and उन्होंने बहुत सारे वर्कशॉप कॉन्फ्रेंसेस सिम्पोजियम सेमिनार्स बहुत सारे अटेंड किए हुए हैं ट्रेनिंग वर्कशॉप्स 19 हैं की कॉन्फ्रेंसेस सिम्पोजियम सेमिनार्स 44 इन्होंने अटेंड किए तो बहुत रिसर्च का इनका काफ़ी लंबा सफ़र है और ये आपको आज फिर एक बड़े ही अपने मिलेट्स के बारे में बताएंगे उनका स्पेशल लेक्चर सुनने के लिए अब हम मैडम को इनवाइट करते हैं
So friends, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਡਮ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਬਾਇਓਡਾਟਾ ਹੈ 54 plus 2 books, number of research publications. कदे अगर ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਗੂਗਲ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਨਾ google.scholar.com ਸਾਈਟ ਓਪਨ ਕਰਿਓ उसे तुसी मैडम का नाम फिल करियो, डॉक्टर नितिका कपूर, and you will find a number of research publications on her name. Citations मैडम ने बोलिया ने 1015 मिला था। वो citation का मतलब ये है कि इन्होंने जो research publications ने they are highly acclaimed. Okay, so these type of experts, they are always a torch bearer for you people. Before inviting our resource person, I would like to invite our Vice Principal Dr. Kanvi Sharma on dais to guide our students. Dr. Kanvi Sharma.
Respected resource person, Dr. Nitika Kapoor, Assistant Professor Botany, Guru Nanak Dev University Amritsar. बेटे आज मैंने जो मिलेट्स से लेक्चर डिलीवर करना और बहुत ही ध्यान ਨਾਲ सुनना क्योंकि आने वाले समय में ਜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ पेरेंट्स ਲਈ ਇਹ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੋਏਗਾ क्योंकि ਸਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਮੋਰ ਦੈਨ 50% ਪੋਪੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਡਾਇਬੀਟਿਕ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਮਿਲਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਡਾਇਬੀਟੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਦੈਟ ਇਜ਼ ਨਾਟ ਅ ਡਿਜ਼ੀਜ਼ ਉਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਲਾਈਫ ਸਟਾਈਲ ਡਿਸਆਰਡਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਡਾਇਬੀਟੀਜ਼ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜੇਕਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਡਾਈਟ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਮੋਰ ਦੈਨ 80% ਡਾਇਬੀਟੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਵਰਸ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਮੋਰ ਦੈਨ 80%। ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਇਹ ਡਾਇਬੀਟੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਪੇਸ਼ੈਂਟ ਹਾਂ ਔਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਦੋਨੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹੋ ਹੀ ਮਾਰਲ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਪਾਪਾ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਨਾਟ ਅ ਡਿਜ਼ੀਜ਼ ਇਹ ਲਾਈਫ ਸਟਾਈਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਲਾਈਫ ਸਟਾਈਲ ਡਿਸਆਰਡਰ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੀ ਡਾਈਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਮਿਲਟਸ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕਰੋ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਬਾਜਰਾ ਹੈ ਜੌਂ ਹੈ ਮਿਲਟਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਲੂਕੋਜ਼ ਦਾ ਲੈਵਲ ਆ ਬੜੀ ਸਲੋਲੀ ਰਿਲੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀਟ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਲੂਕੋਜ਼ ਲੈਵਲ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਛੋਟਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਬੋਡੀ ਦੇ ਔਰ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਛੋਟਾ ਹੋਣ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਡਾ ਗਲੂਕੋਜ਼ ਲੈਵਲ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਵੱਧ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਔਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਆ ਔਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਸਮਝਾਓ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ ਡਾਈਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਮਿਲਟਸ ਐਡ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਔਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੋਡੀ ਲਈ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਵਰਦਾਨ ਨੇ ਜੇਕਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਡਾਈਟ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਰਾਈਸ ਪਲੱਸ ਵੀਟ ਮੈਕਸਿਮਮ ਡਾਈਟ 'ਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੇਕਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਬਸਟੀਟਿਊਟ ਲੈ ਲਈਏ ਮਿਲਟਸ ਜਾਂ ਜੌਂ ਬਾਜਰਾ ਜਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਆਈਟਮਸ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਐਕਸਪੈਕਟੈਂਸੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਨਕਰੀਜ਼ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਰੋਨਿਕ ਆਰਡਰ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਣਕ ਖਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਚਾਵਲ ਖਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋਈਏ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਆਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਡਮ ਦਾ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਡਾਈਟ ਨੂੰ ਡੈਫੀਨੇਟਲੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਦਾ ਮਾਈਕ ਇਜ਼ ਟੂ ਡਾਕਟਰ
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. On my not standing between you and the resource person, invite our resource person, Dr. Nitika Kapoor, to come on dais. Dr. Nitika Kapoor.
So, respected Vice Principal of this Government College of Gurdaspur, faculty members and dear students, a very good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to college for inviting me as a resource person to give a talk on this learning topic that is millets. So I think you all are from science background, so you are all are BSc students, so you must know something about the millets. So I want to say first here that this lecture should be interactive and you may interrupt anywhere during the lecture. So we just have the interactive section so that you will be able to learn maximum from the whatever I try to present. So regarding millets, which is one of the sustainable food crops, so they are also called as nutri cereals or mota anaj or porous millets. So the concept of this sustainable food crops is basically comes from the one of the goals which are produced by the peace as well as prosperity, and for the upbringing of the better upbringing of our planet. So these major goals include the no poverty, zero hunger, quality education, gender equality, peace, justice for all, and regarding reduced inequality, sustainable cities, and responsible consumption pattern, and clean water and sanitation. So to achieve these goals, there is another mission. Yes. So to achieve these sustainable goals, the Government of India has proposed a mission life. That basically word life stands for the lifestyle for environment, and it was proposed by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change Initiative. So under this mission life, there are 7 different themes, including reduce waste, save energy, save water, say no to single-use plastic, reduce e-waste, adopt healthy lifestyle, and adopt sustainable food system. So out of these 7 themes, I will here concentrate on the adopt sustainable food system. Now, before further starting with this sustainable food habits, I would like to here add that what you mean exactly by the term sustainability. So sustainability is basically the term which was proposed by the United Nations Wetland Commission. It defined that meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to make their own needs. It means whatever today we are utilizing, that we have to utilize it in such a way that it will no longer affect the future generation. It means that resource must be available for the future generation. It means कि जो present है उसको हम इस अच्छे से इसको utilize करें. For example, air है या water है या आपके पास soil है, so that कि उसको हम polluted ना छोड़े next आने वाली generation. So that is called as the sustainability. That term is sustainability. So there are 4 major pillars for this sustainability. One is the human sustainability, second is social, third is economic, and fourth is the environmental sustainability. So sustainability is also achieved by means of the some sustainable food habits. So sustainable food habits are the practices that meet the nutritional needs while minimizing the environmental impact. It means we have to no doubt complete our own nutritional requirement, but that will be only possible if we utilize the things in a precise way and in a very judicious manner. And that can be possible if we opt for the sustainable foods and sustainable food habits. So that habits basically include that we have to eat seasonally fruits and vegetables and try to plan ahead our meal or one day before. And thirdly, try to grow our own foods. For example, a small scale kitchen garden can be established from where you have a certain nutritious rich food. For example, if you try to grow just a simple spinach or methi or this radish or carrot in your kitchen garden, even though they are also nutritious and they provide you the day-to-day requirement of the nutrition as well as the fiber. Another aspect that why this mission life is proposed, that to make aware the people and to make them that they must be pro-planet people. So I request you, all of you should be a pro-planet people. Now who are pro-planet people? The people who are practice a sustainable lifestyle and they good for our planet. So that can be possible only if we utilize the natural resources in a judicial manner. Under this pro-planet people or to have sustainable lifestyle, there is an important aspect that make us pro-planet people, that is by means of the utilization of the millets. So I think you all know something about millets already, as nowadays there is a, you can say, quite awareness of the millet is there, already promoted by the government. So millets are their group of nutritionally rich, drought-tolerant crops that are mostly grown in the arid and semi-arid region of the India. And they botanically they belong to the family Poaceae, that is your grass family. And they are also called as the porous millets or the cereals of the poor. Earlier they are called as the cereals of the poor, but nowadays they are the cereal of the rich people, because now they prefer to have the cereal. Why? Because as your Vice Principal sir has already conveyed you that because of this lifestyle disease, we are now shifting back to our traditional knowledge of the millets. As they are superfood and they also promote the sustainable agriculture. So next is the historical and present scenario of the millets. So they are called as the ancient crops of the mankind that holds lots of importance in agriculture. And approximately they are the millets which are first cultivated crops, and in 1983 millets they contributed about 23% of India's grain requirement, which is now falling to approximately 6% in 2008. So from here you have imagined that how much production is reduced. So to promote further production or the cultivation of the millets, year 2023 has been declared as the International Year of the Millets by United Nations at the initiation of the Indian government. So these are some origin and scientific names of the millet, like your sorghum, whole millet, finger millet, foxtail millet, proso millet, Barnyardian millet or electron millet. So these slides basically predict some common types of the millet along with their common name. For example, we have bajra, that also called as the pearl millet, foxtail millet or kangni, swamp or Barnyardian millet, jawar, that we call as the sorghum, ragi, that is finger millet, kutki, that is your little millet, and kodra or kodo. So these millet like kodra, kutki or ragi, they are very frequently utilized by the people from the rural background because they know the importance. But we being shifted to the so-called higher society, we try to avoid these millets. But these are quite beneficial for our health. So this is further classification of the millets. So millets are mainly classified into three major categories. One is the major millets that include jawar, bajra and ragi. Second is minor millets that include kodra, kutki, kangni, swamp and china millet. And third category is the pseudo millet. As the name indicates, these pseudo millets, so they are not actually millet as they are not belong to the family of the Poaceae. For example, this amaranthus or rajgira that belong to the family Amaranthaceae, and kuttu or buckwheat that belong to the family of Polygonaceae. So actually they are not, botanically you can see they are not millet and they not belong to the family Poaceae. I think you all know the this botanical nomenclature of your study binomial nomenclature and the classification. Bentham and Hooker का पढ़ा होगा आपने system of classification पढ़ा होगा monocot, dicot and further they classified into the different families. Next is grain structure of the millet. I hope you able to correlate the structure of the millet with the monocot seed. I think you have studied in your lower classes even that structure of the monocot seed with special reference to the seed of the maize or wheat or rice. So these grains of the millet, they are called as the caryopsis. Why they are called as the caryopsis? Any one of you? Why they are called as the caryopsis? Indehiscent food. Caryopsis is basically indehiscent food in which seed coat is basically fused with the ovary wall, that is your pericarp. It means their testa and tegment that fuse with the pericarp. So you can see here that as a alluvial layer. And after that, there is the presence of the endosperm that further divided into two types, glossy endosperm and flory endosperm, that is rich in the starch. And after that, it carries a single cotyledon, and that has a single embryo that constitutes their plumule, which is further covered by the chorioglotide, and radicle that is covered by the chorioryza, and single cotyledon is called as a sputum. And there is presence of the hilum. Hilum is the point which basically helps to attach that particular seed with the ovum. So next is millet production in India. So from graphic presentation, you will be able to see that two major states of India which contribute maximum toward the millet production as India are Rajasthan and Karnataka. So from here you also have the idea that being Rajasthan and Karnataka, they are the somewhat dry region. So millets are able to grow in a water deficient area. So grain is basically cultivated mainly in 21 states over an area of 12.53 million hectares. So next is agricultural practices of millets in our India. So most of the millets, they are kharif season crops. Now kharif season means they are grown during the season of May to June. At maturity, they are mature in September to October. And secondly, they require the very less amount of the rainfall, that is even less than the 450 millimeter rainfall. And based on the availability of the water, these millets, they require just one rice-saving irrigation and 3 to 4 irrigation at a critical stage of the flowering or the seed set. And also they are able to grow in the soil which has the pH range from the 4.5 to 7.5. So you could see here that these millets are able to grow even under some acidic condition. Okay, so as you know, 7 is the basic pH, and less than 7 you have the acidic, and more than 7 is your basic, and 7 is your neutral pH. Okay. So they are even able to grow in the some clay-rich soils. So next is why millets, they are called as a sustainable. So as I discussed earlier, they show the resilience to climate change, meaning they are resistant to the climate, and they are even able to withstand with the adverse environmental conditions. And they have reduced carbon footprint. It means they are able to convert more carbon dioxide to the oxygen. And secondly, they require low water, and they have adverse adaptability to the variety of the ecological conditions. And these millets, they are blessing for the farmer. Why so? Because they are smart food and they are able to, grow even under an extreme environmental condition. So farmers are no longer have any, special efforts to make for the irrigation of that particular crop. And they just require the one life-saving irrigation. And their growing season among the fertilizer and low irrigation requirement. And this crop is a dual purpose crop. Why it is called as a dual purpose? Because one, it can be grow as a food, and second, it can be grow as a fodder. And these millets, they are also beneficial for the conservation of the biodiversity as well as our ecosystem conservation. Now, millets, they are eco-friendly crops, as in previous slide I have summarized that because they are require very less amount of the water, chemical or other management interventions. Yes. Now, major question is that why millet cultivation is necessary in Punjab? Why? I think you all aware that our Punjab is basically rely on the only wheat and rice. In one season there is wheat, the next 6 months there is a rice. And because of this excessive cultivation of the rice in our Punjab, the water table is drastically go down. So to overcome this, there is need to introduce the concept of the millet cultivation. Apart from this, the one of the other aspect of this rice and wheat cultivation is the problem of the stubble, and that will lead to the stubble burning. Nowadays, no doubt farmers are somewhat prohibited to burn the stubble, but if they burn the stubble, that may lead to the smoke, that may also adverse the soil, affect the soil quality, and may cause a respiratory disorder, and that smoke may be carcinogenic for the human beings or the other animals, and that may also lead to the global warming and sometimes the extreme accident because of the visibility problem because of the smoke. So there is a need to shift toward the millet cultivation. So next question is that how millets they are contribute toward the food security of our nation. No doubt we are in food independent. We all have the food security, but other important aspect of the food security is the micronutrient or nutrient security. As you know, because of this public distribution system, no one in our India, especially in Punjab, will go to bed without any food. All have the food before that. Okay? But basic requirement is what we eat. Is it contain nutrients? Sufficient nutrient it carries? Is it beneficial to our body? If we used to have the, you can say, all the time wheat and rice without any nutrient-rich crops, then that may adversely affect our body as well as our may introduce some lifestyle related disease. So to overcome this thing, the government has taken initiative to introduce the millet in the public distribution system, as they are the micronutrient-rich crop, and that basically cause the or promote the nutrient security along with the food security. Okay, so there is a need to secure the food security as well as the nutrient security. That nutrient security can be only possible because of the millets, as they are the very cheap source of the nutrients. Now this is some list of the government initiative. So first of all, to create awareness among the public, they started or promote the nutri-cereals from nutri-cereals in 2018, and also National Food Security Mission was introduced to encourage millet cultivation and its inclusion in the public distribution system. And state government like Telangana has already taken steps to include millet in public diets, and Karnataka has introduced the jawar and ragi in public distribution system in July 2015. And these are the again initiative of Indian government. So further promote and to create awareness among general public, United Nations at the set of the Government of India declared year 2023 as the International Year of the Millets. And further encourage the farmer to take up millet cultivation, and they give the MSP, that is higher minimum support price they give it to the farmer, so that farmers are come out of this regular cycle of the wheat and rice. So next is nutritional and health benefits of the millets. So millets are basically nutrient powerhouses, as they are rich source of the minerals like iron, zinc, phosphorus, and dietary fibers like vitamins and dietary fibers and vitamins such as folic acid, zinc, vitamin B6. So that's why they are called as a Adbhut Anaj or miracle grains. And they are also rich source of the protein. In next slide you will be able to see that ragi that contains approximately 10 to 15 times more protein as compared to the other cereals. So from this table of the nutrient composition of the millet, you would have idea that they are rich in protein. For example, is your proso millet that have the maximum amount of the protein, that is 12.6 gram per 100 gram of the millet. And they have very less amount of the fat, and they are rich in the fiber. So specifically barnyard millet is rich in fiber, and they contain maximum amount of the calcium and the iron which is required for the our bone as well as our hemoglobin. So you can see here that single millet that has the 344 milligram of calcium per 100 gram, which is almost double than the that same amount of the milk. So, and even they are also rich in the iron, and bitter millet has a maximum amount of the iron, that is 9.3 milligram, and these millets are also contained the sulfur containing essential amino acid, that is methionine and cysteine. Apart from this, certain fatty acid like oleic acid, linoleic acid and linolenic acid they are also present. कार्बोहाइड्रेट रिच, तो कितनी देर में वो ग्लूकोज रिलीज कर, दैट कॉल्ड इज ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स। ठीक है, अगर तो इमीडिएटली खाने के बाद स्पाइक आता है, इट मीन इट हैज ए वेरी लो ग्लाइसेमिक, high glycemic index, and if they release that sugar in a very, you can say, in a steady manner, and you feel filled for a longer time of day, then it means that crop has a low glycemic index and it release the sugar at a very less frequently. So they are good for the diabetic patient. Second is they are rich in fiber, so that is basically beneficial for you can say today's our lifestyle, as most of the time we have the that lifestyle that includes the sedentary job where there is no physical work is there. So to provide that constipation, we must consume these millets. So apart from this, they reduce the heart rate disorder, and they also have the higher availability of the iron and manganese, and they are also rich in vitamin B9, which play a very important role in the mental health. And ragi millet, as we discussed earlier, that is the richest source of calcium that helps to maintain the stronger bones. So this is again has benefits of the millets which are presented by like diagrammatic way. So from the simple you have the idea. For example, podo millet, as it is rich source of the vitamin B9, it helps to maintain the healthy nervous system. Rosa millet helps to control the depression and the blood pressure. Foxtail millet have the maximum amount of the calcium. The granule millet help to maintain the hemoglobin. Little millet, finger millet for the bone health, and the pearl millet for the skin health, as it has the maximum amount of the vitamin E. Now these are the some millet based products are in India. Nowadays I think if you go to any confectionery shop, apart from the normal these starters, you have the millet based some product, like your millet based bread, and millet based noodles are there, or millet based some kheer mix are available, even with ragi bites are available, and millet based khichdi, upma, poha are available. So these are further some local farmers who prepare these millet based products, like your flour are available, podo millets sprouted, and as well as their pakodia or some snacks are available. So why there is a need of millet for the future? So as I discussed earlier, so just this slide is summarized that they are required for the food security, nutritional security. Okay, so this point is much important as compared to the food security. Now we are at this particular stage in our country that we all have the food security, but the need of the presence is the your nutritional security. You need to have the nutrients. And thirdly, safety from disease, as these millets, they are gluten free. So anyone who is suffering from the severe disease, they must prefer the millets. And also they provide economic security, as they are climate resilient, and they give the, you can say, high economic return. So there is a call for action, that is to include the millet in our daily habit. So for this, there must be some policy should be made by the government that must embrace the millet in our lives, and promotion of the millets in the school. No doubt nowadays some of the schools they give millet-based food during this year midday meal schemes, and there must be awareness regarding millets, and government should advocate the promotion of the millet to general public. So next thing, I want to include here that one of the case study from my plant stress physiology lab that we carried at our Department of Botanical and Environmental Sciences, so Nalanda University, Amritsar. Basically, our team, especially Mr. Amandeep Singh, is working on the spironolactone and melatonin regulated physiological and molecular aspects in arsenic stress Brachiria ramosa, that is your ground topic. Okay, so we are trying to explore that how this ground top millet, if it is exposed to the heavy metal stress, arsenic is one of the heavy metals. Okay, so if it is exposed to this environmental stress or the pollution that causes the heavy metal, we choose this heavy metal, as one of the abiotic stress and how it affects the growth of this bronchoplasm. And for the amelioration of this particular stress, we utilize here two phytohormones. I think you all know what are phytohormones. You heard about the auxin, gibberellin, cytokinins, okay, and abscisic acid and ethylene. You heard about these major 5 phytohormones. But apart from this, there are new emerging category of the phytohormones. Other are the glycinosteroid, strigodactons, or melatonin, and even polyamines. So out of these, we have utilized or tried to explore the role of these strigodacton and melatonin. So again, this is a groundhog millet, which is also called as a honey family or the minor millet, belongs to the family Poaceae. So under heavy metal stress, the plant is basically experience the change in their physiological, biochemical, and their morphological attributes. So from this particular slide, it is visible to you that during any type of the step, no doubt here I have shown only heavy metal contaminated soil, but under any type of the abiotic or bionic step, first adverse effect that appear on that particular plant is on their morphological attributes. That includes reduction in the general growth of the plant, leaf fluorescence, and reduction in the flower. And apart from this, there is decrease in the stomatal conductance and amount of the photosynthetic compounds like chlorophyll, carotenoids, or theophylline, and that ultimately reduces to the rate of photosynthesis. And all these factors further lead to the one of the secondary stress that we call as the oxidative stress. That oxidative stress is arise because of the excessive production of the reactive oxygen species. Now, question comes: what is reactive oxygen species? Do you know about reactive oxygen species? So, they are basically oxygen species which have some unpaired electron. They are also called as the free radical. So, to complete their own shell, they try to attack on the other biomolecules and making them free radical and complete their own shell. And this way, a chain reaction is get set up. And that chain reaction may ultimately damage the biomolecules of the cell, like your nucleic acid, protein, or the lipid. And if there is an excessive oxidative stress, that may ultimately lead to the death of that particular plant cell. That may lead to the death of the plant cell. So, to prevent these implications, we utilize this strigodacton and melatonin. But before this, we try to analyze the various soil and water samples of Punjab region, particularly these 5 districts: Shri Muktsar Sahib, Firozpur, Faridkot, Batinda, and Mansar. And these are the some sites from water as well as the soil sample has been collected. And it was observed that water sample mostly they have the amount of the heavy metals like your cadmium, chromium, and arsenic that is higher than the Indian permissible limit. So to overcome this effect of the heavy metal which is already present in the soil that we analyze from these 5 different districts, we try to analyze the stress protective role of this melatonin and strigodacton by applying this workflow, which include the procurement of the seeds from Indian Institute of Millets from Hyderabad, and further they are allowed to germinate in water number 1 filter paper lined petri dish that contain a different solution of the arsenic and as well as the strigodacton and melatonin, and they are allowed to germinate under controlled condition in a seed germinator. Seed germinator is a sort of artificial chamber in which you would able to grow the seeds under controlled condition, and this condition are called as in vitro condition. Actually, and they are analyzed for the different morphological, physiological, and biochemical parameters. And it was observed that this strigodacton and melatonin And number 9, that one, this one, that exposed to the arsenic of concentration of 50 microgram. And first one is of the control, and these one are those which are exposed only to the growth promoting phytohormone, that is your spironolactone, melatonin, and in their combination. So you can see here that if we apply the alone spironolactone, melatonin, and spironolactone and melatonin in combination, they are able to promote the growth of the, and even if arsenic stressed seedling, they are exposed to the further concentration, different concentration of the spironolactone or melatonin, they are even able to promote the growth of the seed. So we found that these phytohormones are quite effective to reduce the arsenic toxicity in bacteria animals. So further, these morphological aspects that these plants show that this phytohormone, they are able to annihilate the arsenic toxicity are further confirmed by the different physiological aspects that include the concentration of the chlorophyll pigment, chlorophyll A, B, total chlorophyll, and pheophylline. Now remember here, pheophylline is basically one of the degradation product of the chlorine. Okay. So these pigments are also enhanced, and apart from these secondary metabolites that further provide tolerance to the plant, like your total flavonoid, anthocyanin, total phenolic content, their concentration has also been observed to be enhanced. And there is another category that we call as a osmolytes. I know some of the terms will be new to you, but my point is that I have to create the curiosity to you people, so that you are aware that what type of the research is going on and what are the future aspects for you. Okay, for example, if I talk about your osmolytes, I know most of your students don't know about the osmolytes. Anyone of you, if you know osmolytes? No? Okay. Now, osmolytes are basically low molecular weight organic compounds. They are low molecular weight organic compounds which are produced in any particular cell under the condition of the water stress and additional other stress that lead to the situation of the water stress. So, as there is, I think you all know about the concept of the osmosis or diffusion. Okay, so whenever a particular cell placed in a solution which has the higher concentration as compared to that particular plant cell, then that particular plant cell tend to lose the water toward the outer cell. Okay, so if we try to lose it whole water, it may ultimately lead to the dehydration in that particular plant cell or death of that plant cell. Now to prevent that situation, the strategy opted by the plant is to increase the concentration of the osmolytes. So if the concentration inside that particular cell of osmolyte is increased, then that plant is stopped to release its water outside. As a result, this you can say osmolytes, they are the life savior for that particular plant cell. So they, in this way, they reduce the process of the dehydration and ultimately plant get survived. So in our study, it was observed that these osmolytes, like your total carbohydrates, total soluble sugar, or tree haloes content that are also found to be enhanced with the application of spironolactone. And even certain oxidative stress markers like your hydrogen peroxide, superoxide anion, or melanodehydrate content are also observed to be controlled by this melatonin as well as styrene. Now there is another class that involved in the regulation of the stress that we call as a antioxidative enzyme. Here we have analyzed these antioxidative enzymes that include the ascorbate peroxidase, glutathione peroxidase, catalase, and glycol peroxidase. Now these enzymes, as I have discussed in previous slide, they try to quench the reactive oxygen. As these reactive oxygen, they may cause the damage to the biomolecules of the cell. So there must be any particular cell, whether a plant cell or animal cell, they have their inner natural defense system that constitute these antioxidative enzyme as well as the antioxidant. And they all are active in a coordinated manner and are formed in sort of cycle that we call as the Asada-Hannibal pathway. Which one? Please repeat with me. Asada enzyme as well as antioxidants. अगर आपको याद हो तो कई बार आपको कहा जाता है कि स्किन खराब हो रही है तो विटामिन ई के कैप्सूल खाएं, या आजकल आप वो फेस पैक में भी डालते हो, ठीक है। अब विटामिन ई क्या है, बेसिकली आपका टोकोफिल, दैट इज योर एंटीऑक्सीडेंट दैट यूज्ड टू सस्टेन द रिएक्टिव ऑक्सीजन स्टेशन। एंड वही एंटीऑक्सीडेंट इन प्लांट्स में भी वही एंटीऑक्सीडेंट है, और वो प्लांट का नेचुरल डिफेंस सिस्टम अलॉन्ग विद दिस एंटीऑक्सीडेंट। So these all antioxidant as well as antioxidative enzyme, they activate in coordinated manner that constitute the Asada hannibal pathway. No doubt I have not included that slide, but you may have the knowledge of this Asada hannibal pathway even from my YouTube channel here. I am not promoting that, but if you put it actually once a while in my previous college, I have made a video because some of the students at Corona time, so we put the short video. So you may have the knowledge from this Asada hannibal pathway from that particular YouTube. So even this tribolactone and maltodextrin, they reduce the uptake of the heavy metals from the soil as predicted by this particular graph. So proposed mode of action of this tribolactone and melatonin is that they reduce the oxidative stress, promote the photosynthetic parameter, reduce electrolyte leakage, and also promote the activity of the antioxidative enzyme along with the osmolyte content, and ultimately protect this perimeter stress plant and promote its growth. So now at the end of my lecture, I again said that millets, they are miracle grains. Why? As they are good for farmer. So please read with me. They are how they are good for farmer? Yes. Okay. Good for. So it helps us to make pro-planet. So you all should take pledge that we will be pro-planet people. Okay. So they are good for the planet as they require the less water, and they are sustainable. How they are sustainable? Because if you consume the millet, that no longer will able to affect our planet, and our planet will be protected even for our future generation. क्योंकि अगर हम बात करें wheat की, राइस की, वहाँ पर बहुत ज़्यादा फर्टिलाइजर यूज, मेरे पास मिनिमम इनपुट, और अगर वो फर्टिलाइजर हम इतनी ज़्यादा डालेंगे तो प्लांट जो है वो तो चलो ग्रो कर ही जाएगा, बट प्लैनेट और सॉइल का कितना ज़्यादा नुकसान, उसमें रहने वाले माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म और जो आपको में उनका कितना नुकसान। ठीक है, नेक्स्ट, दिस इज गुड फॉर कंज्यूमर एज एंड डाइटरी, एंड मेन पॉइंट इज दैट दे प्रोवाइड द न्यूट्रिशन सिक्योरिटी, दे प्रोवाइड द न्यूट्रिशन सिक्योरिटी। फूड सिक्योरिटी है हमारे पास इन द फॉर्म ऑफ wheat and rice, but we need the nutrition security that could be provided by the millets. So thank you, good for you, the planet and the farmer. I hope so. Any questions from your side? बताएं, अच्छा आप वैसे मेरे को बताएं, क्वेरी नहीं तो वैसे बताएं, आप घर में यूटिलाइज करते हैं मिलेट्स? कितने बच्चे करते हैं? प्लीज रेज योर हैंड। एक मिलेट्स यूज करते हो? बाजरा की खिचड़ी, कभी कुछ ऐसा, रागी, हाँ, ओट्स वगैरह, गुड, ठीक है। अच्छा, क्या क्या कोई अपने व्यू पॉइंट बताना चाहते हो तो बताएं बेटा, आप कुछ बताएं, क्या यूटिलाइज करते हो और आपको क्या फर्क लगता है जिस दिन आप मिलेट्स खाते हो? पूरा दिन आप फील करते हैं, और उस वजह से आपके वही कह लीजिए कि क्रेविंग कम हो जाती है और हंगर पैंस कम हो जाते हैं उस चीज में, और यू फील फिल्ड और एक्स्ट्रा ईटिंग नहीं होती, ओवर ईटिंग नहीं है, और आप फिट रहते हैं। हाँ जी, कुछ आपकी तरफ से स्टूडेंट्स? बस कुछ नहीं कहना।
मैम हम इसको टोटली रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं वीट और राइस को, कुछ अमाउंट है ग्लूटिन, इनमें ग्लूटिन नहीं है, ठीक है। इन केस अगर आपने कहीं पे कुछ वीट रिच या कुछ ऐसा खा लिया तो दैट मीन का रिएक्शन, जिसे हम कहते हैं सीरियल ग्लूटिन। तो हम टोटली रिप्लेस नहीं करना चाहिए जो मेरा व्यू है, आप उसको हाफ हाफ करके या फिर यदि कभी किसी वीट की खा ली, किसी दिन चपाती किसी दिन आपने मिलेट्स की खा ली, तो अगर आप टोटली रिप्लेस करोगे और आपने कभी गलती से वीट ले लिया तो वो आपकी बॉडी में रिएक्शन।
बट ये तो बड़ी कॉस्टली है,
कॉस्टली नहीं है ना, नहीं है, बाजरा वगैरह तो बहुत ही आम है, ये कॉस्टली नहीं है। वो पैकेट्स करके एब्सोल्युटली कॉस्टली नहीं होता। इससे जब हम अर्लियर जिसे हम कहते थे क्रॉप्स ऑफ पुअर पीपल, फूड्स ऑफ पुअर पीपल। हाँ, अब ये जो कॉस्ट में थोड़ा सा अगर मैं कहूँ तो गैप है, वो इसलिए गैप है क्योंकि अब इसको उगाना कम है। तो वही तो इनिशिएटिव गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया दे रही है कि अब उसके लिए एमएसपी प्रपोज कर दिया गया, मैक्सिमम सेलिंग प्राइस जो है उसको मिलेगा ही मिलेगा फार्मर को, और उसके बेसिस पे जब कल्टीवेशन आपकी बढ़ जाएगी और उधर से मीन्स आपकी डिमांड बढ़ेगी तो ऑटोमेटिकली सप्लाई भी बढ़ेगी। पहले क्या था कि फार्मर ग्रो करते थे बट उनकी डिमांड नहीं थी, इसलिए उन्होंने सप्लाई पे भी रोक कर दी, फार्मर ने उसको ग्रो करना बंद कर दिया। अब फार्मर क्यों वीट और राइस ग्रो करते, ये करना चाहिए। अब ये इसी पे ये मेन आजकल स्ट्रेस है कि आप इसी पे शिफ्ट होना चाहिए हमें मिलेट्स के ऊपर भी साथ। टोटली मैं भी वो टोटल नहीं कह रही ना, थोड़ा शिफ्ट करें अकॉर्डिंग टू डिमांड, देयर मस्ट बी सप्लाई फ्रॉम द फार्मर। तो अगर उतनी सप्लाई करेगी जितनी डिमांड है तो आप देखें कि रेट भी कंट्रोल हो सकता है, इससे भी कम हो जाएगा। हाँ यस, ये कई जगह में हाँ पर्सन टू पर्सन जो यस मैंने वो हमने एक तो दो एक्सपेरिमेंट किए जहाँ मैंने एक ही रिजल्ट दिखाया आपको। एक हमने फील्ड एक्सपेरिमेंट किया और एक हमने लैब की कंडीशन में। जो फील्ड में किया है वहाँ पे हमने फोलियर स्प्रे, यस फोलियर स्प्रे मतलब 2 लीफ स्टेज में हमने किया है, और जो लैब में किया है वो हमने पेट्री डिश में आर्सेनिक का सोल्यूशन डाला, साथ ही उसमें मेलाटोनिन और साइक्लोडैक्टिन पेट्री डिश में ही वो तीनों सोल्यूशन साइमल्टेनियसली सीड उसमें रख के और उसमें
आपने रिएक्टिव ऑक्सीजन स्पीशीज के बारे में वो कैसे बनती है और वो कैसे सेल को डैमेज करती है, जब बायोमेम्ब्रेन या न्यूक्लिक एसिड को डैमेज करती है?
जो रिएक्टिव ऑक्सीजन स्पीशीज है, जब प्लांट में एक जनरल प्रोसेस लाइक योर रेस्पिरेशन का जो प्रोसेस होता है, चाहे वो प्लांट सेल है या एनिमल सेल है, उन सब में जनरली उनकी प्रोडक्शन रहती ही, ठीक है। तो एग्जांपल है इनकी लाइक सुपर ऑक्साइड रेडिकल, O2 नेगेटिव डॉट, हाइड्रोक्सल रेडिकल या रिडॉक्सिक रेडिकल। अब जब इनकी प्रोडक्शन किसी भी सेल में हो रही है तो नेचुरली है कि सेल में डिफेंस सिस्टम है। वो डिफेंस सिस्टम क्या है? एंटीऑक्सीडेटिव एंजाइम है, एंटीऑक्सीडेंट। अब जब वो बनती है तो बेसिकली वो क्या करती है कि जो न्यूक्लिक एसिड है प्लांट सेल का या उसकी जो सेल मेम्ब्रेन है या प्रोटीन है उनके ऊपर अटैक करती है और उनको डैमेज करती है। जब वो सेल मेम्ब्रेन के ऊपर अटैक करती है तो सेल मेम्ब्रेन में जो है इट इज मेड अप ऑफ फॉस्फोलिपिड बाइंडिंग। अब वो लिपिड्स के ऊपर अटैक करने के बाद दैट लिपिड्स आर कन्वर्टेड इनटू वन ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट दैट वी कॉल्ड एज ए melanodialdehyde and it higher the amount of the melanodialdehyde indicates higher amount of the damage to that particular plant. Okay, so this way these you say reactive oxygen species will try to damage the plants. Now to further exert its resilience, that particular plants have the army of these antioxidant and antioxidative enzymes like your tocopherol or vitamin E that we call as vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and antioxidative enzymes which is the salt, POD, CAT, epox, GR, DHAR, dehydroascorbic reductase, MADHAR, and MDHAR, monodehydroascorbic reductase. These all they act in a coordinated manner that we call as a SADA enzyme, and they try to sequence the reactive oxygen. So higher is the activity of all these antioxidant and antioxidant enzyme, more healthier will be that particular plant. I hope I'm able to clear to your concern. So thank you. Any question? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Deepika Kapoorji, for giving us such a knowledgeable lecture on millets. And the second thank to you that you introduced our students what type of research that is going on in university. तो बच्चे जो मैं कहूँ मतलब आई थिंक इस तरह से लेक्चर जरूर गल करता कि जो रिसर्च है अगर प्रोफेशनल टीचिंग के लिए जाना है तो रिसर्च बहुत जरूरी है एंड यू कैन सी कि मैडम ने जो इन्हों की किसी स्टूडेंट की पीएचडी चल रही है तो उसका एक इन्होंने जस्ट सिनॉप्सिस से प्रेजेंट किया है एंड यू कैन सी हाउ the students there they can perform experiments by manipulating different parameters so that they get the desired result. अगर वो सोसाइटी को फायदा दे रहा है सो ਤੁਹਾਡੀ जो वर्क है ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ that work is good. Okay, so ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਦੋ ਤਿੰਨ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜੋ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਵੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੀ ਹੈ that is sustainability. ਸਾਡਾ ਮਤਲਬ sustainability ਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਤਿੰਨ ਰੋਟੀਆਂ ਖਾਣੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਦੋ ਖਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ But ऐसे sustainability का की मतलब है that to protect your body, है ना? So not to depend much on that comprehensive medium foods ने होना दे introduce millets to your not daily but weekly तुसी introduce करो क्योंकि जब तुसी साड़ी चारा फेर करना फिर वही आ जानी है मैंने शुगर होगी मेरा बीपी बदल लग गया है so why not to improve your habits right from the beginning हम तो शुरू करोगे तब आगे जाके हेल्दी रहोगे अच्छे रहोगे so again thank you resource person for giving us such a valuable insight now I would like to invite Madam Jyoti on stage Madam Mona Mr. Raj Madam Aman Madam Anjali so that we can formally thank our resource person by presenting a token of love. Dr. Bharat Kapoor, please join us.
मैं एक बात ऐड करना चाहूँगी यहाँ पे कि डॉक्टर भरत जो है वो होटल मैनेजमेंट में है तो मैं बोटेनिकल एस्पेक्ट और फिजियोलॉजिकल एस्पेक्ट देखती हूँ मिलेट के तो वो न्यूट्रिशनल एंड डिफरेंट रेसिपीज कंसर्न टू मिलेट्स तो उसका क्वेश्चन वो देख रहे हैं और ऑलरेडी ही हैज पब्लिश्ड अ बुक ऑन डिफरेंट रेसिपीज ऑफ मिलेट स्पेसिफिकली ऑफ हिमाचल प्रदेश
I would extend my gratitude, my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Deepika Kapoor from Department Assistant Professor from Department of Botany from Nagpur University, and we are really pleased that ma'am is accompanied by her family, right? Ma'am, I think this is a very good example of in terms of Women's Day that you have got such a strong support system. So a great round of applause for the family, for the company ma'am. And Dr. Bharat Kapoor, ma'am's better half, is from Department of Hotel Management, Nagpur University, Amritsar. And thank you so much, ma'am, and the family for sparing your valuable time to come here and enlighten us on the topic millets. So, students, I think this session is like a reminder for us that we don't need to go to doctors. Why to pay them such hefty prices? Why to pay bills there? Why not change their lifestyle? Why not change their diet? Tomorrow is Women's Day. Like your mothers always keep a tag on like what you eat, and what you shouldn't eat. So now you have got a clear-cut example that if you want to stay healthy, you just need to make a little shift in the diet. Do have junk food at times, right? But have a little shift in the diet. Do include millets. I think now the slogan should be grow healthy, eat healthy, and stay healthy. And we can also change the proverb, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So a millet a day or 100 grams of millet a day keeps the doctor away. So I'm again very, very thankful to Dr. Nitika Kapoor and the whole family, and I'm also thankful to the faculty of Life Sciences Department and faculty of, especially thankful to Professor Karanveer Singh, Department of Computer Science. He's always there to make happy memories, right? So I thank our principal sir, faculty members for making this seminar a great success. Thank you so much for the wonderful audience. A little bit silent, but a wonderful audience too. So they heard ma'am very patiently. But ma'am has given you an hint that if you come to university, so you'll be welcome there, and you'll be welcome with open arms for the research going on there. So thank you so much, ma'am.